So last week I went on the Washington Backcountry Discovery Route. We didn't do the whole thing. We did section 1, 2, and 5. We only had 3 days, so we did one section each day. It ended up going pretty well. I didn't shoot this expecting to make a video, so I'm going to try to edit it and have a review of each section. So I'll show the section 1, and then follow section 2, and then the last day, which was section 5. So to start, since section 1 was the first one we did, it started in, I want to say Stevensville. It was near the Oregon border at the, I think it was the Bridge of the Gods. And we rode that to Packwood. It was probably the easiest ride of the 3 days, and probably also the least interesting. If you spent any time in the Cascades, you know, it's pretty dense forest and there's not a whole lot of views. So there's a lot of riding through trees on dirt roads, and you get a couple glimpses of Mount Adams and Mount Rainier, but for the most part, it wasn't anything different than the roads I've ridden around, like Mount Rainier, 410, places like that. So I'll show some clips of that, and then I'll go on to section 2. So section 2 was a lot more interesting. We left off from Packwood and we continued to, I think, Ellensburg. It's much more dry. There's fewer trees, those better views. The roads were a lot more rocky and it was a lot more challenging. I think it was probably the most challenging of the 3 days. I dropped my bike a few times. I'll have some clips of that as well. There was one section that was just pretty steep and just huge rocks. And I had a lot of trouble getting up that. I'm also not super experienced with these dual sport bikes. I've only been on dirt since March was the first time I've ridden on dirt. So I'm pretty new to this, even though I'm not new to motorcycles. So I'll have some clips of that. And our last day, we started in Chelan and we did, I think it was section 5. I don't know where it ended, but you could look up the Washington Backcountry Discovery Route and get a rough idea of that route. This was by far the best day. I think it had the best views, the best mix of challenginess. It was the most interesting of the 3 that we did. And the only difficult part was the last probably 10 miles. There was a lot of really, really fine powder. You would kind of just drop into it. It would kind of pop up and you couldn't see anything. We couldn't even see our hands in front of us. So we'd have to go through one at a time to avoid running each other over in case we fell over. And there was a couple times we dropped our bikes because as soon as you hit it, it was kind of hard to see it. You would just drop down. It wouldn't support you at all, and you were just kind of riding across whatever was at the bottom of this powder. It wasn't super enjoyable, but it was only like 10 miles of the entire route, and it was at the end. So I have some clips of that. I don't have a clip of the powdery section because my GoPro died, but this is the final section I have of this 3-day thing, and yeah, so I'll end with those clips.